In this video, I will be using dimensional analysis to determine whether or not an order is safe. We are told that a patient is ordered 200 milligrams BID of amoxicillin, and this patient weighs 44 pounds. What's recommended is a range of 25 to 90 milligrams per kilogram per day. We need to determine whether or not this dose would be appropriate for this child. The overarching idea for these problems is that we have an order and we have what's recommended, and they don't match. And what I mean by they don't match is they don't have the same unit. The order that's given to us is 200 milligrams per dose, and this is BID. And we know BID means 2 times a day, so 2 doses. What's recommended is somewhere between 25 to 90, and this is milligrams per kilogram per day. It would be a mistake to right now say, since the order is larger than what's recommended, therefore this is not safe. It would not be appropriate to say that. And the reason why is because our order is in milligrams per dose, and our recommended is in milligrams per kilogram per day. Therefore, what we need to do is to get these two, the recommended and the order, to match. We need to get their units to match. They both have milligrams, so that's good. We notice that order just has a unit of dose, where recommended has kilograms and day. Therefore, it should be obvious what we need to do is to eliminate this unit of kilograms. And in order to do that, I need to multiply by the patient's weight. If I look at the patient's weight, I am told that this child weighs 44 pounds. I cannot, as I see it right now, cannot use pounds to eliminate kilograms. So what I must do is to first figure out what is this patient's weight in kilograms. Using dimensional analysis, I know there are 2.2 pounds in 1 kilogram. I can divide this 44 pounds by 2.2. As you can see with how I set this up, I would want to cancel out pounds, go into kilograms. So that means I would take 44, divide by 2.2, and what you're going to get is that this patient, this child, weighs 20 kilograms. That is the weight of this child. I can now use that information to customize this recommended amount. I know the minimum, and this is the minimum recommended amount is 25 milligrams, and that's per kilogram per day. I need to eliminate kilograms by multiplying by the child's weight. So I'm going to multiply by 20 kilograms over 1, and when I multiply by the child's weight, kilograms will cancel, and I'll be left with 500 milligrams per day. Again, kilograms would cancel. 25 times 20 results in 500 milligrams per day. That would be the minimum. The maximum would be 90 milligrams per kilogram per day. So I'm going to approach this the same way by multiplying by 20 kilograms to determine the maximum range. So this would be multiplying, I would get 1,800, and again the unit would be milligrams per day. At this moment, I know what's recommended for a child weighing 44 pounds, in other words 20 kilograms. What's recommended for a child of this weight would be somewhere between 500 milligrams per day and 1,800 milligrams per day. If I look at the order, I see 200. A common mistake is right now, students will look at 200, they'll say, wait, 200's not in this range, this is not appropriate. But once again, we are not at the step to compare. What we see is the order is given to us right now as milligrams per dose, where the recommended, when we converted by multiplying by the weight, this is now in milligrams per day. So I know, given the information from the problem, that the child was to receive this twice a day. So I know if they're receiving 200 milligrams every dose, and there are 2 doses, so if I multiply by 2 for 2 doses, that's going to result in 400, and that would be milligrams per day. Finally, the units match. My order is in milligrams per day. My recommended is a range with units in milligrams per day. I'm finally at the step where I can determine whether or not this is appropriate. I would come to the conclusion that no, this is not appropriate. The reason why is because the order is below the recommended range. The range is, and what's recommended is somewhere between 500 milligrams per day and 1800 milligrams per day. The order 400 milligrams per day does not fall within that range. Therefore, it is not appropriate for a child of this weight.